Hello, welcome back to the channel. I'm EVM and this is the MG4, a ground-up electric vehicle which I think is a big deal because it's probably the cheapest family electric car on the market right now. Now, is that for a reason? Where have they cheaped out? Have they saved money somewhere? Or is it just as good value as the other MGs that no one can really fault? Of course, we'll take a look around the outside, the inside, and then we'll take it on the road. It's very different from the other MGs. I mean, the previous MG5, it's had a facelift, but the previous one looked like a 2010 Passat, for example. The ZS looked like every other SUV, but was all right. This, though, it's very European-esque. There's a little bit of Supra, Aventador-esque lights at the front. Obviously, I'm stretching a little bit here, but the way that these kind of swoop back, angle down, there's lots of angles, sharp, angry angles. And I think that will suit this when they do the 440 odd brake horsepower version of it, I think next year. So that should be interesting. But yeah, look at this, the way it juts out at the front. It's like it's going to mow you down or something. We've even got aero, actual aero, not just fake vents. Adaptive LED headlights all around, all of the ranges get the same ones. Well spec'd and pretty decent looking for me. Fairly ordinary on the side, although you do have this crease that goes all the way along, then disappears and then comes back. You got this big kind of black trim at the bottom, which tries to make it look a bit more slimline, a bit more coupe-esque. And I imagine that's what this is trying to do here. The rear door, that's actually very big, good entry in the rear. CCS, of course, we'll give you the specs later on. You got like an aggressive angled light look, and it concaves in at the back. Look at this kind of almost like ducktail spoiler that you've got, because there's no rear wiper. I'm sure that'll annoy a few people, but it should at least not get too dirty with this. And the boot, not quite as big as an ID3, but it's not far off. It reminds me of an old school boot, where it's just, you know, that kind of cheap bobbly plastic carpet effect. A little bit of areas here and there where they've saved a little bit of money, or rather not overspent on them. And if you're going to do that, a boot is a good place to do it. So yeah, for me, that's a decent sized boot. It'll do for a family. You've got the sort of diffuser down the bottom. Doesn't really do anything. It's more of a cosmetic thing. But again, it gives it a bit of an aggressive look. Little brake light. Little detail. The trophy has a big spoiler poking out here, which reduces the range by about 10 miles, I believe. Okie dokie, now, steering wheel. Leatherette sort of thing, feels okay. You've got this kind of joystick thumb wheel here, which, yeah, it's all right. It's kind of like, you know, Xbox controller level. But then you've got this black gloss. That's just going to attract fingerprints. That feels decent. Nice spec. The stitching here, that feels good. This is nice. Daubing's okay. Again, hardware in plastic. Switch gear's all right. That feels solid enough. That's sort of soft, spongy material. It's not hard wearing. What's it? It's same over there.
On this side, yeah. And
black gloss thing again. Good to attract fingerprints. You can see it in the sunlight, can't you? And this is this sort of thing here. I mean, this has been used a little bit today, and it's just full of dust and fingerprints.
I can see all the scratches in it.
Yeah, it annoys me personally because I think, well, make it matte finish. That bit there for your phone, which in the trophy, the top end one is wireless.
Although you do get some cables.
Yeah, you just get cables which disappear under here, because this is like almost a floating console.
Shelf.
So you got a bit for your cup holders there. You got USB and 12-volt adapter. Bit of storage there for whatever will fit in it. Yeah, you get a few things in there. And I do like closed storage to hide stuff away. Yeah, this is. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's deep storage again for your junk. But you do have a bit of hardware in plastic. This is a ground-up EV, so... that's not too bad.
Isn't it? In today's...
That's actually pretty good. What about, now, the seats? This is something I think is a slight letdown for me personally.
They're a bit drab, aren't
they? Yeah, just drab. I mean, the hard-wearing, they'll do the job. They're comfortable, don't get me wrong. They're not uncomfortable or anything like that.
It's just a bit like, can you see there where the material's pulling?
I don't mind fabric. It's a bit, do you know the shiny fabric?
It just, look at that.
The leatherette seats that you get on the other MGs,
Yeah.
it would transform this interior for me.
An
I
option
mean, look,
would be nice, wouldn't it?
you've got this here, leatherette, steering wheel leatherette, you know, whatever, whether it's fake leather or
Well,
not,
even here.
that would make the difference.
But can you see the blue
It's on the door.
stitching looks really nice with that. But
Yep, door
on,
frame.
yeah, on the seat it's kind of lost a little bit.
You can see there's a bit of money saving going on there.
There is, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's inevitable. Yeah. So you've got buttons to actually do, the, you know, effect
Button
changes,
things.
yeah, button things to turn things on and off, so which I do like. I prefer to have something
yeah.
that does that. So you don't have to use effectively a touchscreen, which this is, of course, but it doesn't have any satellite navigation unless
Why
you
would
go
it need it?
for the top end version, because yeah, I think everyone with an MG uses Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and of course you can plug it in. Snow, Eco, Normal, Sport or Custom with 4 different levels
That's
of energy
fantastic.
recovery.
It's almost like they've taken the leaf out of Hyundai's book, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Lane assist, traffic sign recognition, front collision alert, unsteady driving warning.
There's quite a lot of tech in this.
It's got the drunk pack, hasn't it? This here, this kind of dash binnacle-esque, where it kind of curves round in, it's embedded in. It's all right. It reminds me of a bit of the i3. It's not the most stylish, but it does work. And I think, again, we've got to think of this as more of a, well, it is a budget EV.
Practical budget EV.
It is
isn't
a practical family budget EV. So expected, but I'm not wowed by the interior.
It's old school Skoda.
That's a big entrance, isn't it?
Massive door.
Do you like a big rear entrance? Or
I like a big rear entrance, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
there you go. You've got one in the MG4.
Make the most of getting in and out there, no problem at all. It's 1990s taxi.
Yeah. So it means it's hard wearing, I guess.
Yeah. You expect it to smell of smoke.
Yeah, that's true. Rear window's not great visibility. It's kind of steeply raked, but
Seems to be quite
It's
common
okay.
on lots of cars at the moment.
yeah. What about your height?
Yeah, it's
not bad.
not brilliant, but it's not bad. I'm 5'10" on a good day, so it's not bad. I think you're going to get 2 adults in the back of here.
Is this it's a family car then?
It's a family car.
With
yeah.
the boot and the rear seats, it's
I
definitely
think
a
so.
family car.
It's one of those cars which doesn't. It's like a TARDIS. Not a bad buy, is it, for the money?
And I think that's what we need to remember.
For
the money. Yeah.
It's always that thing, isn't it? Value. I think a lighter interior would really bring this up.
Kind of drab a bit in it, yeah.
Yeah, it's too dark inside.
So 2 battery sizes, 51 and 64 kilowatt hour. How much do you reckon the cheapest base, and there's only 3 trim levels, quite frankly, and other than colour, there's no other options. So how much do you reckon the 51 kilowatt hour MG4 starts at?
I would go 26, 27.
26, I'm not reading that at all. It's all memorised up here. Which for me is about right.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think it's
Do
fantastic.
you think it's about right for the interior? The exterior for me is worth more.
It looks like a Supra, got Lamborghini looks.
It's definitely
crazy angles and edges.
I just wish they'd carried a little bit of the previous
Flair.
MGs over us into the When I do like this, we can't argue with the practicality.
No.
And the dash is fine. It's just then everything else that seems to have gone.
Like I think we said before, if you've got, it'd be nice just to have a tick box where you could go premium interior. It does handle all right, doesn't it?
It is.
You could even give it a bit more.
This is another £2,500,
Which I think is money well spent.
over the standard SE. So effectively, you're getting the bigger battery version. And I
Takes you
think
200 miles.
I think so. Yeah. The trophy. That
It's
for me is
bit
a
of
big jump.
Bit of a bargain though when you look at the size of the battery and how much it costs.
Yeah, the only other cars that kind of equal or maybe even beat it on value is other MGs.
Yeah.
Essentially. I just don't see the justification for an extra £3,000 for the trophy. You get the sat nav,
Which you
that's
never
not going to
use.
be used. You get heated seats and steering wheel, which I would like,
But for that extra
but not for
money,
£3,000.
a spoiler that takes
Spoiler
away your range.
and life services and a couple of extra assistance, like safety features.
Well, do you know
So
what?
I'd pay another £1,500
I could live
for that,
without
but
that.
not £3,000.
Yeah,
If you're going to get a value car,
Oh, you
pick
get
the best
you get
value
a special
car.
colour as well, don't you? You can go for the orange.
You can get unit colour.
But
If you're gonna get the top end MG, wait for the quick versions coming out, the 400 knob brake
I think
version.
that's going to be a considerable amount more though.
It will be,
But it'll be the one you should have gone
You can
for.
see why. It'll be, as far as I know, it's all-wheel drive, 440 brake horsepower. It's going to be quite fun, isn't it?
I mean, this isn't slow, is it?
No, a couple
This is-
hundred
this
brake
is
horsepower.
fast.
And the weight distribution is near 50-50, as I
Yeah,
understand it, which it's like it's an MG4. 50-50 weight distribution. I didn't think I'd be using that phrase.
No, not on an MG.
No. There's a little bit of road
There's a
noise.
rumble in there, but
Yeah,
I think you probably change that with tyres.
possibly, yeah. And I even like the levels of regen that you can adjust.
Be nice to have flash paddles, but hey-oh.
But at least you've got different
At least you
levels.
can do it.
Yeah.
At least it's just an on or off.
I think I'd personally go for the MG5 over this.
I think I'd go for this.
It's not much extra and it's got extra practicality and a better interior. The facelift version, I mean.
I think I'd go for this, but I think what I would do is I would have to change the seats. I'd have to get them redone.
Oh, you could get them bobbly things that taxi drivers on.
I'd just do that.
Beads.
Beads. Yeah, there you
So the only issue this car has is essentially other MGs.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing else, is there?
No. Should we do this Snog, Marry, Avoid?
Let's go for it.
This or the Renault Zoe, which is comparable in price.
It'll have to be this.
I think I will go for this.
I think this is going to be a better driver, though.
I do think it is.
Better handling, probably.
Better, yeah, and good range as well, although that's pretty good as well. Okay. The closest in size and what it is to me is the Citroen EC4. Now that's an extremely comfortable car.
Yeah.
It's roughly the same. It's a couple of grand dearer than
Won't
this.
do the range, though. Do you know what? I think I do like the Citroen. I like the looks of it. I like the size of it.
Yeah.
I'd probably go for... I think we're one of them where you go for one, but you think, I should have gone for the other one.
Every
really.
time you go, yeah, you'd always want the other one, no matter which you
Yeah.
picked. You'd never be happy.
But I think I did like the interior more on the Citroen. Got to be said, the seats seemed a bit
You
better.
spend a lot of time in the interior. That's what we were saying. The interior is almost more
I
important.
think the jury's out on that one. I'd have to drive them both back to back again. I think
So you want to date them both and see which.
yeah, did them both at the same time. I think this one's more fun. It's got slightly more power.
Yeah.
The other one's slightly more refined.
Yeah, well, that's really
That suspension
super
on that.
comfortable.
I mean, we
isn't it?
run over a school child and we didn't even know, did we?
Nope.
Bike under the wheel and everything.
Absolutely. You know,
Didn't even do a thing.
did we run over his musical instruments? Went, "Du-du-dish."
Yeah, you did, yeah. At the same time. It's amazing he was carrying an entire drum kit.
The Stellantis stuff.
Oh, the trouble is with them is that they're just very nice looking cars, aren't they? 208's nice looking.
It's a bit smaller.
It is.
It's not quite the family
But
that
they do
this
it in
is.
that nice yellow colour.
Yeah, or even that blue.
Yeah, electric-y blue colour.
So I prefer the
They
look
do
of
this
that.
in a blue colour, real nice electric blue, like a
Yeah.
babyish blue, powder blue.
So
Oh, it's impossible
it's a tough segment.
scenarios. Yeah,
it's
it
a
is,
tough
yeah.
segment.
There's
But
like
you-
in so many segments, there's a lot of competition.
You're going to be paying a couple of grand extra
Do you
for the equivalent Peugeot, though.
I honestly think this just trumps it on the range.
Yeah.
I think you'd have to go, all right then, well, I'm going to forfeit this, and this,
Yeah.
and go for the range.
And if you go for the 51 kilowatt hour version of this, which is the same in terms of range and battery size as the Stellantis stuff we
Yeah,
just
yeah.
mentioned, it's 26 grand.
Right.
They're like 28, 29
Yeah,
at least.
Yeah.
So again, it always comes back to that value, and
Yeah.
no
You
one can
can't-
come close to MG.
Yeah.
I mean, so far this has done 51 miles,
Of-
and we're averaging 3.7 miles per kilowatt hour.
And that's going to be journalist.
That's
driving,
that's
yeah.
messing around
Yeah,
sort
yeah.
of driving. For me, the long range would be 190 to 220 miles.
Yeah. I
And,
think that's fair.
obviously it will vary depending on time of year, etc., etc. So it is a true 200-mile
Range car.
version, the bigger battery one, of course. So
Which is the one you'd probably plumb for.
I don't know. Would you go for the 26 one just because it's 26 grand? Because it's the same interior as this. You're just getting a slightly smaller battery.
I wonder what the difference is going to be on range, though.
I reckon you get 150 to 80 in that. The standard one, 117 kilowatt charging.
Yep.
135 in this, the bigger range,
Yeah,
bigger
that's
battery one.
reasonable.
So again, that's the difference. As soon as you get above 100,
Yeah.
it changes the landscape of
does.
long journeys completely.
well.
It does vehicle to load. In fact, all of them do. That's why I'm looking at the 26 grand one. See, initially I was thinking, you know what, I'd go for the biggest battery version, but the cheap. The SE long range.
But
But
then
now I'm
again,
thinking 26.
Because for most people, when you're charging it, you're driving it around, going to work, blah, blah, and you charge it at home every couple of days, I don't think your pattern's not going to change whether you've got this one or the small battery version.
I suppose if this is your only car, go for the SE long range.
Yeah.
If you've got another car in your household, whether it's electric or not, go for the 26 grand one.
26 grand.
You're not going to
yes.
notice it.
There you go, consumer advice. It's a loud indicator.
It is a bit, isn't it? It's a bit clocky.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in
Grandfather
a
clock.
library. It's comfortable and quiet, although not the quietest EV I've ever
No,
had, but
but
it is
nice.
quiet.
Steering wheel's a bit odd with it being flat on top and bottom.
You know what? It's the perfect car for those that treat a car as a tool. Or if you just needed a run around, you've got maybe a weekend car or something, and this is the one that you just chuck stuff in the back of.
Yeah, and just go.
You're not too bothered about it in terms of keeping it spick and span and spotless.
It feels very darty.
Mm.
A lot of connection between the steering wheel and the
Yeah.
front wheels.
So the only flaws in this car are inside it. and they're not major ones. Although, to be fair, when I got out of the car, well, a few times, they're that soft are the bolsters. I ended up scraping myself on the plastic.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's like, ooh, ow. It's not even bad at handling, is it?
No.
And you were about to let go then, but
Controlled.
You knew it were going to
Yeah,
go.
controlled.
So
You got a
decent feedback.
bit of tyre squeal, and if that'll make the final cut on it.
Of course it will. Yeah, I've decided go for the 26 grand one.
Yeah.
Because then I can justify the seating,
Seat,
the
yeah.
interior. At the 28 and a half, okay.
Do you think we're going to find some deals?
Well, I've had a look, and would you like to know how much I could get this bad boy for?
I bet the exact list price.
No,
No,
there is
there's
an offer.
discounts.
Yep. I can get you this right now. I've had a look online. 95 quid discount.
Do you know, times like this, I'm glad that I know you.
Oh,
Well,
that's what Lorna said. So for me, I'm going to give it thumbs up, but I prefer the other MGs.
yeah, for me, I really like it. Just let down by its interior. I like the way it handles.
Yep. In fact, yeah, that's why the handling, the exterior,
Yep.
the ride.
I can live with that.
Absolutely. They're even maybe slightly better than the previous MGs, and certainly the outside looks, but just sort that out and then you've got a cracking car. I'd like to see one in a few years' time to see how it's held up.
Together.
Yeah.
See if it's good.
But you get the 7-year warranty.
You have, yeah, and a dealer network.
No, I'm not going to say I'm impressed, but I am going to say I do like it.
Yeah, I like that.
Because
it
is what it's worth. What it's
worth its money. Good value.
yeah. What they're charging for it is about
It's
right.
that thing, isn't it? You, when you come away from it, you look at the cost, the driving experience, and as a package.
Expectation versus reality.
Exactly. And
Now,
it's-
would you say that the previous MGs surpassed our expectation? Because I would.
yeah,
Given
which,
the cost.
gives us a harder time.
Yeah, for me, this now meets my expectation.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah,
So it doesn't surpass it because, again, maybe we've been spoilt by the others.
maybe.
So, right.
Fantastic.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
I'm going now. I'm thirsty. Dry throat.